Doctor Who and the Daleks, the theatrical movie.
Yes.
In Technicolor.
In Technicolor. Ooh.
So from the start, we already spoke about how they're reading books and whatever, and Doctor Who's like...
Well, the intro title screen with credits has some funky music that you never hear in Doctor Who TV show.
Can I just say...
Groovy, baby.
I'm really glad that we live in an era where long title credit sequences don't happen.
Yes.
But it was boring. I think I zoned down.
I like how
they already lost me. 1 minute in, and I was like...
Forget the Technicolor, I'm out of here. The Doctor Who TV show, it's like maybe a 15-second intro, the sound of the Tardis.
Yeah.
This was like a Brady Bunch intro.
It did remind me of the Brady Bunch. So I think we should go through, and then we'll go maybe character at a time, because they've obviously reimagined some characters. So I'm going to save Ian to last.
Okay.
Because I got some things to say.
And not best to last, just last.
Just last. Saving last to last, alright? Yeah. So, Doctor Who. Peter Cushing as Doctor Who.
I think they're obviously going for more of a fun comedy type of thing.
Less grumpy old man.
Less grumpy old man, more kooky old uncle.
Yeah, he's a bit eccentric. Even the way his hair is.
Yeah.
And the way he is kind of like always looking like his eyes wide and like, ooh, like, you know, like he's very... And the way he's kind of always like, come along, Harold, or like to Ian, because he's like, forgets his name.
Yeah.
Or there's a moment where he asks a woman to borrow, if he can borrow her mirror, and he swaps it with like a something that he's burnt on a fire.
Cake or something,
yeah.
But I didn't hate it.
No, I liked it.
It was very, very different, but it wasn't bad.
No, I quite liked his character. It's interesting because he's clearly in this interpretation human.
I wasn't sure because at the beginning, Ian comes in and Susan is excited to try and explain something to Ian, and the doctor says he won't understand. He's not like you.
He wouldn't understand.
Anyone can understand science if they only put their minds to it. You can.
Well, that's different.
Oh, well, let's give Harold a chance.
Ian?
Yes, my name's Ian, Doctor Who.
Yes.
And I wasn't sure if that was he's not smart like you, like it was an insult.
He's clearly not, but yes.
He's not. Or he's not an insane alien like you. He doesn't understand these principles.
Yeah. The Daleks.
Well, they sounded exactly the same.
They did sound exactly the same.
We do not need their formula. Now that the girl has brought us the drug.
I thought that maybe because it was the black and white on the show, but they seemed much flimsier. Like they seemed a bit like when they lifted the helmet off one of them, it was like that doesn't seem to be made out of metal. It just looks like it's made out of cardboard or tin foil or something.
Yes, and in the TV show when they're trying to do the same thing, there felt like there was a heaviness to it.
Yeah, and maybe they were built lighter so that because they seem to move around better.
Yes.
Maybe they were built lighter so that they built many more of them. Because there's a whole group of them on the movie set. So movie set, and with people inside them, you want them to be able to move easily.
Yes. Based on the design of all the technology and the rooms and the doors around them, they love pink.
They do love pink.
Even pink curtains.
I think there's one scene when Barbara's walking through the city. She's walking down a hallway and there's like art all over the walls. Do they care about that? Like, why did they do that?
But why pink as well? Art and pink. The other thing they love are lava lamps.
They do love lava lamps.
And that was... I don't know why, but even I could
Look at it move.
I could get past the pink and the art.
Yep.
But the idea that a Dalek literally went, oh, I'm going to place these 4 lava lamps here on this desk is just weird to me.
Well, maybe they look,
Maybe they're jealous of how free moving it is. And that's why they respect it. But it's just...
It's like 4 broken ones on the ground because they've just gotten angry and thrown them. They think they're so clever. Barbara.
She was good.
Yeah, she was. And I think you said she does sound like she's doing a pretty good Jacqueline Hill impersonation.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Something terrible happened here. This place is dangerous. I can feel it. I wish we could leave.
We worked upwards from the 3 R's. Reading, writing, arithmetic.
Whereas none of the other characters or actors felt like they were trying to do that.
No, she must have seen some episodes or something. Her hair was kind of similar to Barbara as well.
Similar style, except very blonde, and obviously Barbara's not.
Susan.
Right.
Or, as she's called very frequently, Susie.
Yes, that's true. Which never happens in the TV show.
No, I don't think so. Initially, I found her more irritating than regular Susan.
Really?
Because at the start, she was very, like... I don't know, just like...
Dismissive?
Yeah.
Of people?
Of people. But then I could understand why she was dismissive of Ian. But I ended up liking her quite a lot more. I was like, oh, she's properly brave.
Yes.
She's, can figure things out. She's got problem-solving skills.
She's the brave one who agrees to go back to the ship to get the drugs for the Daleks. I liked her. I get where you're coming from, but I liked her the whole way through, and she was less irritating than the Susan character in the TV show.
Okay, Roy Castle's version of Ian.
Well, I don't know how much it's his fault or the writing.
I think it's the writing.
Yes.
But I don't think he helped at all.
No, because he said, oh, this is great writing. I'm going to put my all into this.
He did put his all into it. He felt like he was supposed to be the comic relief.
Yeah.
Like a slapstick kind of idiot.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with that in this... If you watch the show, the whole reason of Ian and Barbara existing at the start is they are our perspective in this crazy world. And in this version, I guess Ian's the one that hasn't seen any of this kind of time travel-y stuff before.
Right.
He's supposed to be our perspective, but he's an idiot.
But it's like Mr. Bean being on the Tardis.
Yeah. It's been by a door.
You know what I was thinking is there's no way this guy's ever wrestling a Jaguar warrior from the Aztecs. And I know we made fun of Ian in the TV show, but even he's more believable compared to this Ian.
The TARDIS, it is quite a bit bigger.
The doors are like 8 foot tall, but in the show it's like a normal sized police box.
Can I tell you the other thing I noticed?
Yeah.
How did the doors open? They opened outward.
Oh yeah.
They never open them outward. They always like push him and walk in. There's a moment later where the door is open and Ian walks into it. They're like, we should make them open outward so an idiot can walk into the door.
Yes. Purely for the Mr. Bean comedy.
Now, when they walk in, here's another comparison.
Yes, I know where you're going.
The TARDIS set
is awful. But I mean, the TV show looks amazing. How did they get it wrong for a movie?
The funny thing is, the design on the TV show, it was done like on the fly. Verity Lambert went to a set designer and was like, I need a design for this TARDIS now. And he basically just scribbled it right there. It's so minimalist.
Yeah.
But the TARDIS console is the centerpiece of that. Whereas this, it's like with all the wires and
yeah,
like it makes more sense in this universe, but it also looks awful.
It does. It looks like cardboard.
I don't know why they moved away from having the central thing, because there's also nothing that makes sense.
Yeah.
The big button on the ground.
I think it's one of the low points of the movie, because I think I liked the movie, but that's the inside of the TARDIS is terrible.
Ian rocks up. He gives Doctor Who chocolates.
Yes.
Which are meant for Barbara, and they have a bit of a back and forth, like,
sensible chuckle.
A sensible chuckle. Some part of me wonders if in the 60s, like, there were people chuckling to that. Maybe. It just felt a little bit bad. And then he sat on the chocolates.
Oh! He sat on the chocolates, darling. Did you see that? She's holding the torch, right?
Oh yeah, I remember this, yes.
And before she jumps, she goes, here, Ian, and just pegs wood with fire at them.
She doesn't say...
Catches fire.
And there's no... because if I was like, I'm going to toss this over to you, You ready? Be careful, it's on fire. You know what I mean? Yeah. There was no time. She was just like, think quick. Just tossed it at him, basically. And he caught it fine, but
yeah.
Man.
That was one of the most tense moments in the movie for me, was her throwing that. You know the scene where they're trapped in the room and they're getting ready to attack the Dalek?
Yep.
And they're all looking at each other to see if they're all ready, and it goes on
it went on for way too long. I was like, you are willing to skip through so many things, and yet you need this scene. Doctor Who looks at Susie looks at Ian looks at Barbara looks at Doctor Who looks back at Ian. It's like,
that's how you build tension.
It's just so much.
But in our video, I'm just going to have it loop, so it looks like it's going on forever.
The Daleks were proposed to have flamethrowers, but this was vetoed. The effect used for the Daleks' weapons on television could not be achieved on film negatives, so they couldn't do the inverted colour thing because I guess it's in Technicolor, so I don't know how that works.
Right.
According to Gordon Fleming, who's like one of the producers, we used the fire extinguisher effect because we couldn't afford to add a ray to the film and it wouldn't have been good enough to just have people fall down. We wanted something that could be seen. We were going to have them shooting out flames, but John Traylon, the censor, thought children would be frightened of the flames, so he went to the other extreme and armed them with fire extinguishers.
There's lots of shots in the movie that look really good.
Yeah, obviously, like film quality at that time.
One of my favourites was when the Daleks decide to invade the city and it's night time.
And they all come out of the woods.
Yes, that looked amazing.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was good. There's another moment where they climb to the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
And there's this like the scenery to the left of them, which looks really good.
Yeah.
And there's a few times where like Ian and another Thal get two Daleks to just point their guns at each other and shoot. I'll tell you what, there is one really cool shot. So when they put a rope around a Dalek and yank it back, and it gets smashed into a wall and falls down the elevator shaft.
That was great.
Which I thought was an amazing shot.
Yeah.
And then there's another shot when they storm the control room basically, and two of them just shove a Dalek straight into a wall, and it just crumples.
Yeah.
And there's still another point where one of them grabs the gun and then gets it to shoot at another Dalek. The Daleks reveal their plan to Doctor Who, which is that they're going to blow up another bomb.
Yeah.
And then they start a countdown.
From where, Matthew?
From 100.
Begin the countdown.
No!
100, 99, 98.
I was waiting for them to be like 10, but instead it was like 100, 99, 98, and it keeps going.
Yeah.
Like, you just constantly hear the countdown in the background, and you're like, it does not have to be this long.
It's almost like done for comedic effect, that they just keep flipping back to more numbers.
But you could not operate it without me.
43 will find a way. 43, 42, 41, 37, 36.
And then Doctor Who and Susie, they're still trapped in their prison thing. They shout to Ian and say the timer, because it's got 10 seconds to go or whatever.
It's finally gotten to 10 seconds.
And he's like, Daleks, like he just like basically waves his hands at them, and they all turn to him. And then he gets down and like all shoot the control thing.
Panel, yeah.
Which knocks out all of their power, so they all presumably die.
Yeah.
And it stops their bomb. It all wraps up very quickly.
Yeah. Now in Technicolor!
Reverse the polarity of the neutron.
Reverse its polarity.
Reverse the polarity. Reverse the polarity.
Reverse the polarity.